and then your 2 subheadings. Okay, so 4 paragraphs, but 2 main headings and 2 subheadings. And then we have a conclusion, no citations. And then we have just your 7 references there. As you know, we've given you 4 sources already, green, orange, blue, and yellow. And there are 3 extra articles that you need to find. All right, so that was the reason we were doing that brainstorming task, because I highlighted here those headings and subheadings, but we don't actually know what our headings or subheadings are going to be. And there are no rules about what they should be. It's as long as at the end of your literature review, you have answered the 3 questions. We're going to start to discuss what your headings and subheadings could be over the next few weeks. So it's great that you are all here. So next week we might come back and we might think, well, maybe our literature review could be divided into positives about Will and then negatives about Will. And maybe positives about Will, I'm going to write about positives for students and positives maybe for industry and unis, okay? And then my negatives, so my second main heading. So what could my key points be? So negatives, sorry, little typo there. So we have one negative which relates to time. Okay, so maybe that is one subheading. The negatives associated with this is organizing it or time. And what might another challenge be? Another challenge might be the best way to design. Okay, or maybe another one could be matching students with mentors. Okay, so it could be maybe organizing it. Okay, so that could be one way we decide to group the information together, or maybe we're going to do it in a different way. So there is no rule about that, and it will depend on what you know about the topic from your articles. So that is going to be an important thing that we're going to do each week. So please, everyone, save that and start a document where you brainstorm everything you know about the topic. All right, so something that's going to help us with remembering the articles each week and what they are all about are the summary notes. So let's discuss those right now. As you know, you need to write 7 summary notes, 1 for each reading. These notes will help you to remember each week those details from the reading, so you don't have to keep reading the whole article again and again. It's really important in these summary notes that you are paraphrasing using your own words. But also these can be notes. They do not have to be full sentences. Okay, so we had a look at an example of the summary notes in the workshop. There is the document in the literature review folder, and the document has a template. So it says summary notes template. Hello, Catherine, and welcome to you. We are just discussing your summary notes, which will be the way you can organize your information and compare information for the literature review. All right, so summary notes are due starting next week. They're due on Fridays. Next week, you are writing summary notes of green and orange article. 1 week later, in week 7, you are writing summary notes of blue and yellow. The week after that, week 8, summary notes about 2 articles that you find. Okay, so that's really your research is due before the 16th. Okay, so Maybe your research is completed 1 week before. Okay, as you know, you need to find 3 articles. Okay, so that's 2 summary notes here, 2 here, 2 here. And then when you submit your literature review, you will also submit your last summary note. Is that the correct due date? I'm just checking. Yes, correct. Okay, so we're going to practice right now doing the summary notes. Before we do, I believe that the green and orange summary notes will be very easy to write. Why is that? Question, it's in the chat box too. Why do I say that the green and orange summary notes will be easy to write? Exactly, well done, Judith. Nice, so you've already annotated green and orange articles. So we can see that doing this task was a step towards the literature review. You'll remember at the end of your annotations, you wrote, this article is useful for the literature review. Okay, so we are now using those 4 articles for the literature review. Well done. So those summary notes should be easy, green and orange. The blue, we've been working on a bit in tutorials, and you have some notes in OneNote, which we will look at soon. These ones will be a little bit harder. They are on research you find yourself. But as you know, we've been practicing extracting details you need for the summary. So let's just have a look at the summary notes. What do you need? So what information do you need? So this is what we need in your summary notes. The title of the article, very easy. Publication, where was it published? Maybe it was an online journal or an online database. Authors, who are the authors? All these 3 are really easy. Okay, next is some background information. So you can go to the section called background or context and select 1 or 2 points there. So background information is what the authors know already before they do their research. Then we move on to the aim of the study. Then we move on to the method. Then the findings, some points for discussion, and then the limitations. Question, where will you find these details? Nice, well done, Meiji, excellent. So that should remind you of writing the summary for your annotation. Well done, nearly all of those details are in the article. Next question is, which part of the summary notes and the summary do you think is the most important? So which part is the most important? Would anyone like to guess? Yes, Meisha, you're on fire today. Well done. I'd like to just give you a small prize of, I don't know how hot it is where you are today, but sending you some sunshine for your excellent contributions. So the findings are really important. A reminder that those findings, they should be in your own words. Okay, this part is really important because that is how in the literature review we're going to link between the articles. Each week in the tutorials, we'll be doing practicing something that you need to do for the literature review. Okay, so in a few weeks, we will practice how you can link between the articles. Okay, so even though this is a big task, each week we're going to practice some of those skills. So these are notes, so you don't need to write, full sentences like the authors of this article were. No, you don't need to do that. So writing my summary notes for the orange, I can write Chopra, Khan, who else? Mustafan, and Golab, and the year, whichever it was, 2019 or 2020. Okay, so you don't need full sentences here. They are notes. The point of this, or the reason to do this, is so you can go back to your summary notes when you start to write this assessment, and you don't need to keep reading the articles over and over. So in the end, just a few weeks before your literature review is due, we are going to have a table of 7 summary notes. Okay, so we'll have summary notes for the 4 articles we've given you, and plus the 3 that you find. Okay, and once we have all those summary notes together, it'll be easier to find the similarities and the differences. Okay, so maybe article 3, blue, maybe this was focusing on benefits to students. Okay, so maybe that one can then link to the orange, because that was also about benefits to students. Okay, enhanced employability. Maybe also the orange mentioned about differences in gender, and that was a finding as well. Okay, so now that we have this, now we're starting to think, differences. Not all students experience will in the same way. Some like it more than others. Some benefit from it more than others. So we're starting to again go back to our headings. So those summary notes are going to be really important for thinking about your headings and also for writing the sections. All right, so what we are going to do, and I think this should not be too tricky because we have been practicing in OneNote writing annotations, and we know that a lot of the details for the summary notes come from the summary that you wrote in the annotation. So if you remember last week, and the week before, we were practicing annotations, and we practice using the blue article. So we can see here in the first tab all those details from the blue article. So that's great. We already have notes there. And now you can see here summary note blue. So that is the table that you'll see in the summary notes document. So your job right now is to write a summary note for the blue article. Okay, so normally you can just write on the document. I'm not sure if you'll have room to do that, but you can certainly just go onto a new line and type in the table like that. Okay, again, does not have to be full research. Sorry, does not have to be full sentences. You know, so it might be to compare. Okay, so it can be notes, not full sentences. So that is the job right now, everyone. We're going to practice writing or completing a summary note for the blue article. As we know, it's the findings that are most important. And the blue article and most articles have more than one finding. All right, so 3 groups there in OneNote. I'm hoping you all have access to OneNote by now because we've been using it over the last few weeks. So that is our job, everyone. You're going to be, do you prefer small or larger groups, everyone? Would you like to be in a group of 4 or 5 or 3 or 4? What do you prefer? Smaller or larger groups? Hello, students. Are you still with me? Larger. Okay, cool. Oh, Ashish, nice picture there. Okay, good. I'll put you in larger groups. That's fine. So there'll be groups of 4 or 5. If you don't know the answers to these questions, please learn from your classmates. Okay, this is practice in writing a summary note. You do need to write a summary note for blue. So in this case, you are helping each other. Normally, this assessment, the rest of the assessment is going to be an individual task, but we're just practicing this one summary note together. So even if this is difficult or confusing, please don't disappear. You can ask your group members some questions. And don't forget that later in our unit, we have a group assessment. So it's really important to stay in your groups, talk to your group members. You can message them in the chat or you can type in OneNote. So we've got 3 groups in OneNote, 3 groups in Blackboard, and it's 20 to 12. I think it might take about 20 minutes. I'm going to see how you are going there in OneNote. I might share the summary notes slide. Okay, so normally, as I said, the document for writing the summary notes, it looks quite similar to what we saw there, but it looks like that. All right, everyone, enjoy your time in your groups, 3 groups, and I'll see how you are doing in OneNote, but it should be about 15 or 20 minutes. See you back here soon. I'll be sitting here. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If people in your group are not saying anything, please let me know. If you don't understand or it's difficult, please just tell your group members, this is difficult, I'm confused. And if you know or you can help your group members, that'll be fantastic. Okay, so everyone, enjoy your group time in your groups. I'll see you soon. Hello, everyone. Just bringing you all back from your rooms. I hope you can still hear. Can you let me know in the chat? Just testing the microphone. Excellent, cool. A little check-in about that task. Let me know about that task. How did you find it? I know we did that in a group right now. For your assessment, you'll be doing that by yourself. Yet to hear from a few of you. Catherine, Elvino, Jackson, Jay, how did you go? Sinman, let me know. How did you find this task? Jackson and Jay, and Sinman, just waiting to hear from you three. Thanks, Jackson. Jay and Sinman. All right, well, I've heard from most of you. So most people said that was okay. Okay, fantastic. It's really a matter of finding or extracting those details, which I think nearly every group have done well. I'm sharing now group one's work. Well done, group one. And Levine. There's one thing I might add here. Author and title. Yep, well done. When we put the authors, I think it could be a good idea to put in there the correct in-text citation. Okay, so the in-text citation, we didn't do that in the annotations, but we are doing that in the literature review. So this one, the correct in-text citation is Martin and Rees 2019. Okay, so it might be a good idea to put the in-text citation there correctly already. All right, title and author, well done. Excellent. Nice. Comprehend the benefits of wills so they're able or capable of working. Okay, well done. It was also to improve teaching. Okay, so they said knowing how much the students like will can improve teaching and the setup or development of will. Excellent with the background, really well done. In the background section of this article, there were 3 paragraphs. Okay, so you could even include 3 key points here, but really well done that they've used this conceptual model. Excellent. I think it's important to consider how your authors define or describe will, because if everyone describes it differently or thinks it's a different thing, it's going to be difficult to compare research. So well done for including that. Also, there were 2 other paragraphs in the background. So there was also a paragraph which was, okay, so we have this one. This one is that they also in the second paragraph say that will and sports management, which is what the students were doing, will and sports management were well suited. The reason they say this is they say that they say they are natural curriculum partners because both are vocational. So I have paraphrased what they say. I'm saying they're well suited because they're both vocational. This means in work integrated learning, students learn skills, and in sports management, students are practicing learning and teaching skills as well. So they say, the researchers say that they are well suited. One in the last paragraph in the background, they just mention will and skill. So I think it's similar to the first point. So really well done there, group one. Excellent, well done. 271 students. Might be important to include their context. Sports management. Students, well done. Okay, fantastic. Well done with the method, well articulated. Analysis of thematic content. Great. Definitely important. I'm so glad you included those skills. These might be skills that we're going to write about in detail in the literature review. Well done. So for this article, there was more than one finding. There was actually a few different findings. So well done for including that. I think that is key. We might add a little bit more. I wanted to give you a special congratulations on this section because I thought it was really well paraphrased. Okay, so if I go to and we do want you to be using your own words here. So the sentence in the article was an overwhelming feature of many placements was enjoyment of the experience. So you've got a striking characteristics, many of the placements. So whoever wrote this, I don't know who it was of you in group 1, but a clap for you. Really well done. It's fantastic that you selected the correct content and also you paraphrased. Well done. That's a very well completed summary note. I think every time you read it, you will remember the blue article. We do have 2 key findings. I would like to add a little bit more, and I think maybe group 3 has a bit more detail there. So well done, group 1. Summary note. I'm just moving now to group 2. That was Elfina, Emily, Jackson, and Sinman. Okay, well done. Same thing, we can put the in-text citation there. Okay, so we've got Martin and Rees. And it's 2019, so well done. Great, with the aim, we can also include to improve teaching. Okay, great, very brief background, but excellent, well done, that is true. We could add that they've used a framework. We could add that they say that sports management and will are well connected or well suited. Well done. We could include with the method the amount of students, and we could also include their major or faculty. Well done with the method, excellent. Okay, fantastic. Here we've got self-management and more efficient communication. Good. Still waiting for maybe 1 or 2 more details in the findings. Yeah, fantastic here. Students' perceived contribution, nice, well done. Okay, well done there with references they've referred to. Let's just read, there's something else I'm looking for in the findings. We've got here group Meiji, Merlin, Rakat, and Yuklin. Well done with the author. You can, of course, you should add the title and we can include the in-text citation. Background. Yeah, good start here. We could add a few more. Again, they mentioned that sports management and will are well suited. Well done. Method, excellent. Findings, yes, well done. Okay, so I'm well done to you, Meiji, Merlin, Rakat, and Yuklin. You've added a little bit more here in the findings, which is going to help us when we start to think about our headings. So you've included, I think that is a key finding, that students like this. They develop their self-confidence and communication. Well done. Students appreciated the mentoring. I think that is really important as well. Okay. Yes, and I think we can add to appreciated mentoring, develop skills. Yes, in fact, we can add that they developed a community of practice. Hey, that was an important finding there as well. So a community of practice. By the way, self-confidence, yes, and self-management. Okay. Okay, community of practice is where people who are working or studying in a similar field meet and talk about that. Okay, so it's really colleagues or student groups meeting and discussing something. So really this is kind of like a kind of network, a community of practice or a network, okay? I think it was important to include that as well. I'm just going back to the other findings. Yeah, self-management, excellent. Self-management was key. So group 3, you've got self-confidence. Okay, so it was self-management, but I think confidence as well. Okay. All right, so a few of you have got self-confidence, some self-management. We have also communication, and then we can add that the students liked the mentoring. Okay, so that was important as well. Very well done. Okay, that's the kind of detail you need in your summary notes for them to be helpful to you when you are writing your literature review. As I said before, this is an individual task. We have done it together today to show you what to do, which is fine because all tutorials are practicing, excuse me, with the blue article. But after that, it will all be up to you. Okay, well done. That's exactly what you need. It is very important that the findings are detailed. For example, if you write something like findings were students like Will or students learned skills, that is not helpful. It's going to be much more helpful if you can include the detail there, because later we want to be able to link all the studies together. Okay, so if I just go back to the slide we were using before, our goal is to have 7 summary notes, not this one, 7 summary notes all collated together. Okay, so we really want the detail like, you know, students enhance their self-confidence, they developed a community of practice, they became better communicators, they enjoyed it. Okay, so that kind of detail, especially in the findings, the most important part, will help you to link between the articles, and that is really an important part of your planning. So well done. So hopefully also we can see the link between the summary notes and thinking about your headings. So just going back to our whiteboard from before. Okay, we started with this. Now I think we can add a little bit more to this, can't we? Here, our first point, positive for students, community of practice and networking, self-confidence, self-management, communication. Okay, so from your summary notes or going back to the articles, it's helped us to think about those positives. So maybe I'm starting to think of my literature review structure. Positives of work integrated learning for students. Maybe one whole section could be about communication. If I find that written about in many articles, then I can have a section about that. Because don't forget, in each paragraph or section of your literature review, we want 4 different in-text citations. So if many articles write about communication, that could be a whole section. If many write about confidence, that could be a whole section. Okay, so you can see here some different ways to organize your literature review. Maybe one main heading is positives, and that's positives for students, positives for industry and universities. Or maybe it's positives of will for students, communication and confidence. So there are different ways to structure your literature review, and it will be based on this kind of task and also your summary notes task. All right, before we just move on a little bit to the research, the last thing we'll do today, are there any questions about the summary notes before we move on? If you can write summary notes like that, that's exactly what you need to do. It's going to be really helpful to you for your literature review. And don't forget, the summary notes are part of your grade. So just before we go on, are there any questions about the summary notes? Well done. I really thought you did well to extract those details. And also to paraphrase. Two things we need to do. Not much response going on. Ashish, Catherine, Eltvino, Emily, Jackson. Any questions about the summary notes? Jay, Judith, Levine, Meiji, Merlin. Questions? Rakad, Serena. Hey, Serena, welcome to you. Sinman, Yuklun. Any questions about completing those summary notes? Eltvino is the representative. Rakad, thank you for your response, you too. Okay. All right. Judith, great. You have a question? Ask. Put it in the chat box or feel free to use your microphone. Just a reminder about the summary notes. The first two are due next week. They should be very, very easy. No, you don't need to do it in a paragraph. Okay, I'm just going to share, okay, again. Yeah, well, I think we practice well. That's all. That's exactly what you need to do. I'm just going, sorry, back to answer your question. You do not need a paragraph. They're just notes. So I'm going down to assessment. Okay, and then I'm going to the literature review folder, and I can see here this summary notes template. Okay, when you open this document, I'll show you it as a document right now. It looks like this. So I'm just going to share this 1 second. I'm glad you're asking these questions, everyone. It's helpful to you and to your group members. So that's the summary notes document. So you can just type directly into that. You don't need full sentences. It does not need to be a paragraph, okay? Exactly as you did today. And you can always go back to OneNote to check. Don't forget that you are submitting 2 summary notes at a time. So you'll want to copy the whole table, okay? You're submitting 2 at a time, green and orange, and after that, blue and yellow, and after that 2. So there we go. Now your document is ready for the green and then for the orange. I don't feel we need to practice too much more with that. I think it's pretty easy. I think it takes time, as you did today, but I think it's easy enough. Just a reminder, 1, paraphrase, use your words, that is. And secondly, focus on the findings, because it's through the findings we can start to link the articles. Okay, so Yuklun, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure you need to focus too much more on the summary notes, because we do have a few other things to do. If you can do them like that, you'll get full marks, okay? 1, they've been completed accurately and well, and 2, they're going to be helpful for you. So hopefully, like with the first assessment, if you get stuck or confused, you can go back to the OneNote that you've been working in and have a look at what you did there, and hopefully will remind you. Okay, so that is always there for you as an example of what you need to do. Just again, focus on the findings. All right, the last thing we are going to do today is to just look again briefly at the research you need to do. As you know, there are 4 articles that we've given you. They are all in learning resources online, QUT readings, but you also need to find 3 more articles. Okay, so a few questions about that. What are you looking for? Where are you looking? How many articles do you need? And what are some keywords? Okay, can you, students, use the T to type or paste in the chat box? Let's call this question 1, 2, 3, 4. As you know, part of this task is Looking for more research. I think the answer to question 3 is pretty clear. Okay, how many articles are you looking for? You are looking for 3 additional articles. Where are you going to look for these? So where will you be looking for those additional articles? Yes, excellent. We are looking for peer-reviewed. Perfect. Where are you going to be looking for those peer-reviewed articles? QT Library, excellent. Great. Or Google Scholar, fantastic. Please keep in mind that we want current research. So we might refine our search as well to date. Okay, 2017 or 18 to 2022. Well done, QT Library or Google Scholar, fantastic. What about the last one? What are some keywords that you can use? We are looking for peer-reviewed articles, and we are all fantastic. Don't forget our research questions, because we want articles that can help to answer those research questions. I'm just going to paste them once more in the chat box. We need to keep those in mind. Excellent. Great range of search terms there. Will, students, employability, excellent. What about if I look at the 3 research questions? I've pasted them right now into the chat box. Are there any other words that we might use? Don't forget there are 3 stakeholders. So far we have quite a bit of information from the student's view, but there are other perspectives as well. Excellent work experience, students, and benefits, great. What about the other stakeholders? Other stakeholders, we've got students and there are 2 others. Who are the 2 other stakeholders? Just have a look. Excellent idea for a search there. Limitations or challenges, fantastic. Great critical thinking. Your critical thinking will be part of your research, part of selecting articles, part of coming up with headings, part of linking your articles together. Excellent, well done. Companies or industry, fantastic. So keep adding to this list. There's so many different search terms we could use. We've got company or industry. What about the organizers? Fantastic. School. Actually, we mean universities. Or universities in other countries may be referred to like that. College or colleges. Okay, so fantastic. We've got a whole different range of search terms. Employability is an excellent one to use. Benefits, excellent. Skills, useful as well. Limitations, excellent. All right, let's practice using some of those. We'll do this together. And I'd like you to let me know when you find something that you think is helpful. All right, so let's just go from here to the library. Okay, all of you will be doing this in the next few weeks. And I'd love you to send me any research you find just to check it's relevant. All right, so QUT library. And so we can do an advanced search where we can add terms. So we've got work integrated learning, and someone said limitations. I like that as a keyword search. So we could include and limitations. Let's try that one actually. We can 2017 to 2022. Let's see how we go with that search. 800 results. Okay, you can see we have a lot of books. We don't want books. We want you to be using peer-reviewed journal articles. So let's just click that to refine the search more. 452. All right, let me know in the chat box if any of these seem relevant. None of them really seem to be limitations. Any ideas here? Do you like any of these articles? Should we check to see if they're useful or not? Right, any ideas? Does anyone like any of those? Would you like to give me a number? No answer from anyone. In that case, let's try a different search. We didn't really find too many limitations, did we? So that's all right. We can just try a new search. And this research phase will take you some time, okay? So leave some time for that. So let's try, we can also do it just in the search bar here. Okay, and some of the other ones and industry. Okay, so let's try that. We can always add more search terms later. Okay, and again, I'm going to refine the search. We want online and peer reviewed. And we can also save those filters as well. 2017, we said. Okay, does anyone like any of these articles? Do they look useful? Do they look relevant? Do they seem like they can answer any of the research questions? Would anyone like to give me a number of an article they think is useful? Yeah, number 4. Great. Thank you, Judith, very much. Let's just scroll up. Of course, if we think it might be relevant or useful, let's click first on the abstract just to check. And things that you are looking for, of course, we want it to be up to date. So we can check the year. And we also want this to relate to the research questions. Another thing we want is for details about the method, because we want to check that they did their own research. Okay, so here we know that students were interviewed, but also supervisors were interviewed. Okay, enablers and challenges. Okay, so this for me looks really relevant. Nice choice there, Judith. Reason being, it's focusing on 2 stakeholders, students, but also supervisors. And it's looking at positives and challenges. So this seems like an excellent choice. It's very relevant. It's not just one stakeholder, it's up to date. Excellent. So yeah, I would be very interested in opening that and looking at the findings. Okay, so maybe that's going to be your selection. Let's just go back and just maybe try one more. And this is the same process that you'll be going through when you start to do your research. And of course, I would love you to send me your articles to give you the okay. Challenges. So that one was good. We're looking for limitations or challenges. Here comes one that looks to me relevant. Let's just have a look at this one because we did want something about some of the challenges or negatives. Okay, so for me, this seems really relevant and helpful, and it's already making me think about my literature review because the findings of this article suggest that there are differences, or they're calling them misalignments, between student, university, and industry. So that is really interesting, isn't it? So maybe this article is saying that people, the three different stakeholders, have different ideas about will, and this can impact how successful it is. So that looked really relevant. Let's just, of course, we have all of those pages of results because we have 924. Just going to randomly select page 5 and see what we get. Okay, students' experiences of will. The challenges. Okay, this one looks interesting as well. Yeah, so there's so many different articles there. We've got about 900. This one looks interesting as well. So you can afford to be selective here, and also you should be spending a little bit of time on this. Of course, we want peer-reviewed, we want recent, and we want articles that can answer the research questions. If you get an article that is all three stakeholders, students and industry and universities, that is going to be really helpful. If you get an article that has a bit of information about every question and also a bit about the negatives and a little bit about the positives, that will be a kind of dream research article for you. So everyone, that is the job ahead of you now. Ashish, that is such a cool photo. I love it. So you do have a few weeks for this, but just a little reminder of the due dates for the summary notes. Of course, they do make up part of your grade. So the two easy ones are due next week on Friday. I think it will take you only 5 or 10 minutes because you've already annotated those. You can go to your summaries and you should be able to find those details. The blue one we've done together. Okay, so that one I think we can say is done. The yellow we still need to do. Yuklun, you said you'd like a little bit more practice. Maybe we'll have some quick practice next week, okay? Yuklun has gone, so but maybe we could do some quick practice next week. The research that you do, those two summary notes on articles you find are due on the 16th. So that means you need to have done some research within the next 2 weeks or so. So summary notes, hello Guang. Important, and of course, once we have all of them, we can join them all together, and that will help us with the headings and subheadings. All right, Guang, you've just joined, but we are just finishing. You can certainly join the next tutorial. A reminder about the e-content, okay, especially there was a focus on, that's okay, there was a focus on evaluating and critical thinking. We have not done much with the yellow article yet. You know the orange and green well. We have been practicing with the blue, and there's information about the blue article there in OneNote. The yellow we have not done much with. Let's just see. I'll ask you this as a poll. Can everyone please answer this? Everyone, let me know, would you like more practice on doing the summary notes? My suggestion is that next week in the tutorial, if you'd like, we can practice with the yellow. Let me know, everyone. Next week, Meiji says yes. Would you like to practice once more? Elvino says yes. Okay, all right, let's do a little bit more practice next week. Okay, excellent. Thank you, everyone. And I know that Yuklun suggested that as well. Okay, excellent. Let's do that. Cool, we will. All right, great. So let's practice once more next week with the yellow article. We have not done much with the yellow article yet, okay? So that should mean green and orange, you know well, you've annotated them. Blue, we've kind of done today. Yellow, let's have a look at next week. Let's especially focus on the findings of the yellow article because I think that's the hardest part and also the most important. All right, everyone, you should be kind of starting to focus on your summary notes. They are not worth much of your grade, but they're really important. So as you said, the green and orange are really easy. The blue we've done, so don't worry about that. The yellow will start next week. Okay, so don't stress too much. Good question. The results of the AB, it's normally 2 weeks marking turnaround. We'll aim to be a little bit faster than that. So it'll be hopefully mid next week. Okay, so around about this time next week or before, hopefully. All right, Yuklun, nice, you're back. You'll be very pleased to know, Yuklun, that other students said they would like to do a little bit more practice with the summary notes as well. So we will do that next week in the tutorial with the yellow article. So again, well done everyone for being here. I hope you can see that. Excellent. Being here means practicing the things you need to do in the assessments, okay? Of course, we have the record of what we've been doing in OneNote, which is there for you kind of as a tool to remember what we've done. So if you come along next week, you have done your green and orange summary notes. That should be so easy and so quick. Of course, you do need to upload those as a Word document. I think that's a 10-minute job. Blue summary notes, we did. They are good. The yellow, let's practice next week. And then the job will be for you to find 3 articles, to write summary notes of those. And then we have the job of linking everything together. That job of writing sections of a literature review, we're going to practice doing that in our tutorials as well, including the kind of linking language you need, including practicing the in-text citations. Okay, we'll also practice writing an introduction. And we'll also practice brainstorming again, the headings and subheadings. So hopefully you can see that if you're attending, as you are all doing, it's going to be really helpful for you in completion of the literature review. Over to you, students. Any questions? A cat from Judith and a really cute cat. What about from others? Either a question or an animal in the chat box, please. I'm going to go with a whale. There's still some whales near I live. No more questions? No worries, Ashish. No questions yet, Levine. Okay, cool. Can focus on the hairdo. That's good. What about others? Either a question or an animal from you. Yuklun, Serena, Rakad, Merlin, Meiji, Jay, Jackson, Elvino, Emily, Catherine. Very nice. Little crocodile. Yuklun, very cool. From the Brisbane River, a cute shark. Meiji, a beautiful panda. Merlin, thank you for your cute chicken. Nice, Levine, that great dragon. Sinman's got a cute little dog. All right, everyone. Thank you for responding. If you have, thank you for your contributions. Thank you for staying in your groups. I think only one person left, so well done. You know, if tasks are hard, I think it's a good opportunity to learn from your group members. So well done. Thanks, everyone. Well done with the practice summary notes. You leave today with the blue summary notes, so well done. And you also leave knowing how to do it. Let's do a little bit of practice on the yellow next week. and then we'll start to again think about headings and subheadings. Thank you. Well done. If you do find some research, send it to me and I can give you the thumbs up. Well done today, everyone. I look forward to seeing you next week, the workshop in week 6. Bye-bye. Bye, Judith.